Yeah.
Tell us about the basic medical services in Nepal and your interest in helping people who couldn't afford to have eye operations, even as something simple as cataract treatment.
I think there's a lot to say about basic health services in terms of the index of health. And for me as an individual or with some of my friends, I don't think I can change the whole scene of the health services. And that was a limitation that I knew quite early on. And I started focusing on seeing what I can do in ophthalmology and what I can actually, see if I can make any difference in the community, And we're basically talking about what public health impact. So one of the things that really struck me at those times was in Nepal, a big blindness survey was done in 1980-81. And according to the survey, we found that cataract was the major cause of blindness, like it is in all the developing countries and countries which are in the process of development, And what was striking was we found a large chunk of iatrogenic blindness. Iatrogenic blindness is a blindness which resulted after bad surgery. So what I'm trying to say is the treatment for cataract those days was fairly primitive, and we were not doing nowhere close to what we were supposed to do. And since these people were having their lenses removed straight away, and then thick cork bottle glasses being given to them. In a country like Nepal, where the topography is very difficult, we found that nearly 1/3 of these people don't wear glasses, and if you don't wear the thick glasses, you don't see at all. So you're actually leaving 1/3 of the people functionally blind, and and then you have a large proportion of people who are being blinded with bad surgery. We were doing surgeries with very minimal magnification and things like that. So these were areas that we really needed to seriously go into do something. And I really focused myself on seeing how we can bring the state-of-art cataract surgical technology that is present in the West to a country like Nepal and other countries.
How did you do that?
Yeah. We had, I clearly identified certain barriers, and one big barrier was the technology of the surgery. The surgical technology which was then present in the West was a lot complicated. And countries like US and other, Western world can have it complicated and expensive because they can afford it.
That's right.
But we cannot afford it, you see. So we have to make it simple and cost effective. But that doesn't mean that it had to be of second class in terms of quality. So with the nucleus, with the idea in mind that you have to preserve the quality, and which is extremely important for something like sight restoration, the quality is so important, and then keeping the quality in mind and simplifying the surgical procedure which was adaptable to local conditions and which we could reproduce and give it to many other doctors in terms of training, and trying to look at the cost, so that was one issue, one issue. The second issue was the cost of some of the important consumables. For example, the most important consumable then was the cost of the little plastic materials, plastic lenses that we put inside the eyes called intraocular lenses. And these lenses, when we were doing surgery way back in the early 80s, used to cost about $100. And buying a $100 lens for a case in a country like Nepal was almost impossible to do, the cataract for the mass. So we had to bring the cost down. And then third was training our local colleagues. So these were the three main, obstacles that I sort of envisaged and I saw, and I tried to look and see if I can solve one at a time in order to, tackle this problem. Yeah.
you did succeed because this method that you just mentioned is now being practiced after your introduction to those countries. What countries are they?
Yeah, Yuli, I mean, we always wanted to start from the most difficult places. And early 1990s, we started from Vietnam. And those days, Vietnam was quite different from what it is now, you know. Yeah, and Vietnam was almost an iron gate. And then we started in 1990s, 92, 93 in Tibet, which was again an iron gate. And at about the same time in mainland China. And then later on, I think about 3 years ago in North Korea. And now we are starting in Myanmar. You know, we want to go to places where people really need us.
How did you convince these governments that you were able? Was it because of the inexpensiveness?
You know, my philosophy was that I'm totally clear about my limitations, and politics is not my profession. And my profession is site restoration, which I'm pretty good at. And I have got ways that I can show to the smartest leaders that this can be done cost effectively, and this can deliver a lot of good to people that they care for. And whoever the leader is, you know, and sometimes they have to care for the people. So something that's good for the people, they will never. You know, I've never had this problem so seriously as, you know.
So you've never been refused, in other words?
Never, yeah. No, we had difficulties in the beginning. You know, we had difficulties. So one of the difficulties that I had faced was way back in late 80s, and to convince people that the technology was coming from a country like Nepal. So I had to establish a lot of credibility before I could actually. This was difficult for me. And for that matter, even for us to send our lenses, which were manufactured here from Nepal, there was a lot of difficulty for people to understand about this. But that's now a history, you know, and we worked quite a lot to do that. But once that was established, I think the rest was not very difficult.